Okay, back again. All right, so looking at performance management now. So, performance management is a systematic process of evaluating and managing employee performance in order to achieve the best outcomes for a business. The two objectives of performance management are evaluating an individual's performance and using that information to develop the individual. Aha, okay. All right, so what is the value of performance management? It allows you to identify opportunities for improvement. It lets you see that you are complying to all legislation, so assesses legal compliance. It can help justify staffing decisions, identify areas where training and development is needed, provide feedback and recognition to employees, and assess the performance against original standards. So you can look, for example, at somebody's job description from back in job design and see if they are actually meeting all of the markers that they were supposed to. Performance appraisals in sitcoms. Okay, so I've got two performance appraisals attached here, one from the TV show The Office and the other from a TV show called Scrubs. So I'd like you to watch both of them and see if there were positives and negatives in the appraisals, how you think they could have been done better, or so that they had an outcome that actually allowed you to see if there was compliance to legislation, if there was an area shown where some more training or development was needed, those kind of things. So just have a watch and have a think about whether or not they are good examples of performance appraisals. Okay, performance management benefits both the business and the employee. So the benefits for the business, it assists with human resource planning. Thought there was someone arriving, it's not. Can help plan to overcome gaps or weaknesses found in performances. Shows the effectiveness of current selection process and whether staff recruited matched the cultural fit and the skills required by the organisation. Identifies training and development or legal compliance needs. Evaluation of rewards and benefits programs. So are people reacting the way that you wanted to any rewards or benefits you're providing? Communicates expectations that the company has to the employees. It helps build trust and promotes long-term organisational development. Helps to identify, motivate and retain talented staff for leadership succession. Identifies and documents poor performance and links it with training and improvement strategies. And helps to build a best practice culture so people know what they should be aiming for. Okay, benefits for the actual individual employee. Comparison of contribution to organisation and performance against agreed standards. So they actually can see if they are performing well in the job. Helps assess rewards and benefits linked to performance. So a positive performance review might lead to some extra lurks and perks. Builds self-efficacy as contributions are recognised, important in motivation and retention. So it gives you something to feel good about if you're doing the job well and you can see that people are recognising the fact that you are doing a great job. Identifies strengths and weaknesses, creating opportunities for training, development, coaching or mentoring. Creates opportunity for the employee to actually give some feedback about the job, how they feel they're performing, or if there are some elements that they need some extra assistance in to be able to do the job to the best of their ability. Initiative recognised and rewarded. Again, yay, somebody's saying I'm doing something good. Fosters promotion on merit, so they can see that, you know, they deserve any promotions or perks that they get. And it helps the employee to focus being more aligned with the organisational strategy. They can see exactly what the business wants from them and they can work towards accomplishing that. Okay, performance appraisal and performance management systems often regarded as surveillance systems and are dreaded by employees. They are more readily accepted by employees when they are designed collaboratively with key stakeholders. So again, the employee has some input into what's going on. We have a little video attached here which is looking at why people maybe don't like the idea of performance appraisals. What's my note here? Brainstorm things management can do to ensure a positive introduction to performance appraisal initiatives. So using you just to use your brain, think for a second, how could you make performance appraisals something that employees are more likely to want to take part in? Okay, to have effective performance management, businesses can ensure that they have clear job descriptions so people know what roles they need to perform, match the right people with the right jobs, set mutually agreed goals and standards for performance. Again, that's that idea of being collaborative. Provide appropriate induction and training programs to create qualified, competent staff, and provide regular and constructive feedback. Rewards. Okay, rewards management, monetary and non-monetary rewards. So rewards can be monetary, money, or non-monetary, not money, and intrinsic or extrinsic. We've used these words before, but to remind you, intrinsic rewards are those that the individual derives from the task or job itself, such as a sense of achievement. It's feeling good about what you're doing. Extrinsic rewards are those given or provided outside the job. They may be monetary, for example, incentive payments, or non-monetary, for example, flexible work schedules. Rewards are to be distinguished from benefits, which are available to all members of staff. Reward systems are also increasingly linked to performance management through enterprise bargaining and individual contracts. So when you negotiate your contract of employment as such, whether you do it as an individual or do it as a group, reward systems can be built into those contracts. Okay, total reward system. So intrinsic rewards associated with the job that are non-monetary. So from the job itself, the work could be interesting and challenging. You could have a sense of responsibility because of the nature of your job. You could feel that you are being recognised through getting feedback about your job. You may get a promotion. You may have some autonomy in the job. Autonomy in the job means that you have some sense of control of what you're doing. And it also gives you a sense of achievement. These intrinsic rewards can also be about the job environment. So you may have good, effective relationships with your co-workers might be really healthy. It might be a really safe and healthy work environment. There may be social activities, and getting recognition and praise might be something that is done publicly within the workplace. So these extrinsic rewards associated with the job, which can be monetary or non-monetary. Direct ones are wages and salaries, which is obviously monetary. Commissions, monetary. Commission, for those of you who don't know, is some jobs people are paid commissions. So let's say you're a car salesman. For every car that you actually sell, you might get an extra, I don't know, $500 a week. Okay, so that's commission based. Incentives, there could be bonus plans. So you might get a Christmas bonus or a bonus for each year, like, the anniversary of when you started working there. A pay increase is also an incentive, or possibly there's some group profit sharing. So maybe if the business generates X amount of profits, there's a bonus paid to employees from that. So some indirect extrinsic rewards, which are usually called fringe benefits, include things like insurance, holidays, childcare, medical health costs, flexible work schedules, moving expenses, and maybe even the use of a company car. Sorry, I just paused it and closed my door. Okay, some key considerations. So key issues to consider in designing a rewards and benefits scheme for individual employees are performance related. So incentive plans for performance above standards or criteria, like how are you judging, measuring that performance? Bonuses, piece rates, commissions, production related incentives. Again, how are you going to measure to see if people deserve these things? If it is in manufacturing, piece rates means that they're producing, let's say, 75 paper aeroplanes in half an hour as opposed to someone only making 50. Commissions, again, I explained that it's like the number of sales that you make, and production-related incentives. That could be anything really. It could just be, they've come up with a new idea for doing something. It could be that they have helped someone else. I don't know. All right. Job related. So the role and level of responsibility, scope of supervision, base pay, interpersonal skills, knowledge and skill, experience value to the company, for example, links with clients. Okay, so whatever somebody's role or responsibilities in the job place could affect the types of rewards or benefits that they are able to access. The way that they relate to other people might be something that is used to work out whether or not they deserve a reward. Knowledge and skills in the workplace, maybe if they're sharing them through some kind of in-house training, maybe that could be something that leads to a reward. Or if they prove themselves to be of great value to a company. Other individual considerations, you go group incentives, group incentives. Are you going to reward people for group work? Or are you going to look at what things that the employee actually values? So flexibility or career planning. So you might make specific rewards for specific people depending on what their actual desired outcome is. Specific job conditions. So some people might need to live overseas in order to do their part of whatever's required by the business. So are there different rewards associated with that? For example, many people that have to move for their work, there's usually some help in maybe finding employment for a spouse, or there's moving costs are covered. Possibly they're given I don't know what the word is, my brain just stopped. They're given access to funds to be able to maybe fly home once or twice a year so they can stay close to family, etc. Okay, a whole bunch of different things that can be considered rewards. Individual bargaining power, somebody who's really valuable to the business and can do something nobody else can, obviously will be able to negotiate a greater level of rewards than somebody who is, I want to say, more replaceable. Other people can do what they're doing. Okay, video attached there, and I honestly, for the life of me, can't remember what it's about, but it would be definitely about rewards. Okay, and the last thing here is in your notes you have an article on how Google rewards its workers. It looks like that. I will just quickly read it, that way you don't have to. Okay, so how employee freedom delivers better business. So this is from a CNN report. They've got it all: free food, fitness facilities, massage rooms, hairdressers, laundry rooms and on-site doctors. Are they Hollywood celebrities? No, they're Google employees in Mountain View, south of San Francisco. And if you're an employee here, you're encouraged to spend 20% of your time on a project of your choosing. It's no surprise that Google places fourth on the US Fortune 100 Best Companies to Work For list. How could this possibly pay off? It pays off spectacularly, says Milton Moskowitz, journalist and co-author of the Fortune 100 Best Companies to Work For list. Since its beginning in 1998, we keep track of stock market performance of companies on this list, and they are consistently outperforming other companies, he adds. You don't need a lot of money to do what Google has done. If you give people freedom, they will amaze you. Laszlo Bock says the payoff shows up in increased innovation and productivity, low turnover, low sickness rates, and high employee satisfaction. In a word, warring for increasingly sparse talent, a strong employer image is also not to be underestimated. It means you can attract and attain some amazing people, says Laszlo Bock, Senior Vice President of People Operations at Google. People who are exceptional and motivated and who are driven beyond a good job and a paycheck. Employees matter, and the thought that they just turn off their lights when they come to work is ridiculous, says Jennifer Mann, Vice President of Human Resources for SAS. You're not going to succeed unless you have a stable workforce. Our voluntary turnover is 4% or less in an average industry of 22%, and we estimate it is saving the company hundreds of millions in company turnover. The approach is a far cry from the 1990s sweatshops of the US, so what changed? Perhaps not as much as you might like to think. The companies on this list are exceptional, says Malkowitz. They are not the norm. We still have a lot of ground to cover, but 25 years ago it was such a hierarchical business structure, and that's changed a lot. Google getting into travel. The realization that there is a relationship between employee welfare and productivity is actually not new, says Daniel A. Wren, author of Evolution of Management Thought. Henry Ford tried a workers' welfare program to deal with high turnover, even paying people $5 a day at a time when that was unheard of. Others have tried similar programs, but we've come a long way since the back-breaking work of the 1920s. Workers today are smarter, more skilled, more demanding. They want different things. Okay, it's my phone. I'll be back. Okay, not that you noticed, but I was just gone for 20 minutes then. And I can't remember where I'm up to. Hang on. Google getting into travel, 1920s. Okay, so workers today are smarter, more skilled, more demanding. They want different things. Okay. Research by the Great Place Work Institute, co-publisher of the Fortune annual list, shows that today's employees really do want different things, and it is not in their paychecks. Their work with more than 10 million employees worldwide reveals that what people want is trust in leadership and each other, pride in their work, enjoyment of the people they work with, and fairness and transparency, all things that companies like Google and SAS seem to do well. The key to making this approach successful, they say, is a sincere focus on employee well-being. A lot of companies think they can fix just one thing, says Mann, who, through SAS, also works with companies globally to help them create better work environments. They think that if they add a healthcare centre, that will do, but it's a much bigger picture. Bock agrees. The important thing to note is that you don't need a lot of money to do what Google has done. If you give people freedom, they will amaze you. So how can you begin to reap the benefits of a happy staff? Simple, says Moskowitz. Sit down and talk with your employees and ask them what they want. Okay, that's the end of today's show. Let me just check the work booklet. And turning pages. Yep, that's it for today. All right, see you later, guys. Bye.